You ever read a story that's so personal, so raw, you feel like you're literally walking around in someone else's memories? If you have, you are probably reading a memoir. So today we're going to dive into this absolutely captivating genre, what it is, where it came from, and why these incredibly personal stories really matter. Okay, let's just get right into it, because this is the number one question everybody has. You pick up a book, it's about someone's life, they wrote it. Is it an autobiography or a memoir? They sound the same, but trust me, the difference is huge. And this breaks it down perfectly. An autobiography, that's the whole shebang. It's trying to tell the entire story, from cradle to the present day. But a memoir, it's a slice of life. It zooms way in on one specific time or one experience or a single big idea that changed everything for the author. It's not the whole movie. It's the most important scene. So if it's not the whole story, then what is it exactly? Well, this is where we see that a memoir is so much more than just a diary where you write down what happened each day. The name itself actually gives us a pretty big clue. It comes from an old word that means something written to be kept in mind. See, a memoir isn't just about the what. It's about the author looking back, thinking about it all, and unpacking the feelings and the lessons from those moments. It's all about finding the meaning inside the memory. And this need we have to find meaning in our own lives, it's not new. Not at all. The memoir has this incredibly long and rich history that has evolved right alongside us. I mean, we can trace this all the way back to ancient Rome. You've got Julius Caesar writing about his military campaigns. Then in the Middle Ages, Margaret of Valois comes along and becomes the first woman to write what we'd call a modern memoir. And the genre just kept growing, right? From Henry David Thoreau reflecting on his life in Walden to all those iconic classics from your 20th century by people like Isak Dinesen and Ernest Hemingway. So what's the secret sauce? What takes a personal story and turns it into a powerful memoir that connects with millions of people? Well, it turns out there's kind of a recipe for it. And it really boils down to 6 key ingredients. You can think of these as the building blocks that every great memoirist uses to build their story and make us, the readers, feel it. So a killer memoir, it needs an emotional journey, right? Like Cheryl Strayed working through her grief while hiking the Pacific Crest Trail in Wild. It needs obstacles. You got to have those challenges that build tension, like Elizabeth Wurzel's intense battle with depression in Prozac Nation. The whole thing is held together by a central theme. And of course, it has to have a unique voice. That author's personality has to jump off the page, like the unforgettable, hilarious voice of Carrie Fisher in Shockaholic. The 5th ingredient is point of view, and this is crucial. Memoirs are always told in the first person. It's all filtered through the author's eyes. I love this quote by the writer Steve Almond. He says, "They are radically subjective versions of objective events. There's no pretending to be unbiased. It's all about their personal truth." And that word, truth, brings us to the 6th ingredient. And oh boy, this is maybe the most important and definitely the most controversial one of them all. You really can't talk about truth in memoirs without bringing up one of the biggest literary scandals of our time, James Frey and his book A Million Little Pieces. This book was a phenomenon. It was sold as this brutally honest memoir about addiction and recovery. But then, the story broke that Frey had just made up or exaggerated huge chunks of it, and it was a bombshell. It completely broke that unspoken promise, that trust between a memoir writer and the reader. So the Frey scandal basically lit a fire under this huge debate that is still going on. We know memoirs are subjective, but where do you draw the line? I mean, how much does the hard factual truth really matter if the emotional truth of the story connects with people on a super deep level? It's a fascinating question, and there's no easy answer. Okay, so moving away from that whole debate, memoirs also come in all kinds of shapes and sizes, and they're told by all kinds of different people. You see this style a lot these days, especially with celebrities like Anna Kendrick or Mindy Kaling. They'll write these fantastic collections of personal essays. Each chapter is like a little story, a snapshot from their life, usually funny and often about their experiences being famous. But here is the most important thing, I think, to remember about this whole genre. You do not have to be a celebrity to have a story that people need to hear. In fact, some of the most powerful memoirs come from people who were, completely unknown. I mean, think about Abigail Thomas, writing about her world being turned upside down after her husband's brain injury. Or Julie Powell, who just decided to cook every single recipe in Julia Child's cookbook in 1 year. Or Augustin Burroughs, writing about his wild and unbelievably strange childhood. These are incredible, unforgettable stories from what you might call ordinary lives. It just proves anyone, absolutely anyone, can have a story worth sharing.
So why? Why do we keep writing them, and why do we keep reading them? Well, it all comes down to this dual power that a memoir has, for both the person writing it and the person reading it.
For the author, writing a memoir is this huge act of discovery. When you focus on a specific part of your life and really reflect on it, you can find clarity, you can find understanding, and at the end of the day, you can find meaning in your own life. And for us, the readers, memoirs are like this magic window into someone else's soul. They can give us answers or make us laugh, and they create this powerful sense of connection. By reading someone else's truth, we often end up learning something incredible about ourselves. We see our own lives reflected back.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought. Every single life is full of these defining moments, these important chapters. So after all this, the question isn't just about what story you're going to read next. It's what story from your own life is just waiting to be told.